Hello class, today we are going to look at more on styling images, but now we are going to mix it with the text, and our major focus is text wrapping on images. So we could say text dash wrap here, .html. Then we could as well say text dash wrap.css. You can call this text wrap. We are going to begin with the beginner, and we keep advancing or adding in more styles such that you can get everything that you almost need to know about this. You'll pick what is necessary. If we may begin, can just open our page there. If we may begin, we can have say wrapper, and then we have maybe images as another class. Don't need to even the image. We can pick say profile pic. Then we can have another class here that we call say content. Then we could have maybe an h2, and then we say company owner, like that. Then we say paragraph. We are just going to use the dummy text, number of times maybe, can just stop at that. And then when we go to our page, this is what we shall find. So you added a page, rather a photo, a heading, and then some words about that company owner. So let us see how we can do some small basic styling. We can say position. Maybe we can put the position to be absolute. Absolute of what? Of the viewport. Say top 50%. You can say bottom, rather left 50%. So where are we? That is where we are. Could as well say transform, translate negative 50 pixels, negative 50 pixels. So we set it back to the center of the page. What else can we do to the main container? We can say padding, for example, to be 20 pixels. We could say box sizing, now that we have used the padding, such that all the width and the paddings, the margins we could use later are all contained in that particular container, which is wrapped, that they don't go outside, or it does not enlarge beyond the settings we have created. We can say background, maybe right say green. Add some small border radius 4 pixels. So when we check it out, this is what we have so far, and see we are getting into shape. Then we can go ahead and pick the image class. It was in wrapper, with images, then the image. I want to work on the image itself. You can say the width of this image is maybe 300 pixels, then the height is say 200 pixels. So when we do that, this is what we have. You can work around that image. You can increase the width a bit, maybe to 350, and maybe this to, what if we made it 300 a bit, something like this. This is also possible, and you would have finished. So let us look at a different one. Here you have added an image, some text, put them here. So this one would be one of the most basic areas, or one of the most basic ways you could do it. Let us look at another one that will add on to what we have achieved here. It will add on to what we have achieved here. We could just have this the same image, the same things, then but choose to design it differently. For example, we can say that is one. We could say that we could come here and remove this absolute. If you could also remove all these. So this is another example. I could for now do away with the border radius. I can apply it to an image if I want. The same, can leave that one there. You create the width, and it should cover, the whole wrapper should cover 50% of the page. Then I can say that this image should have max width of say 300 pixels. The height, I can take it back to 200. I could now let me show you how this one is now. I need to refresh because we have changed some things. Wrapper. This is very awkward. This is supposed to be 8 pixels. Sorry. It's good to look at the errors, and then you get to know that we are also human beings. We make them, and when you make them, you go ahead and look for where your error is. You don't run away. So that was supposed to be width, not padding. So now you can see how my element is. So I can now say that the image should float left. This is, at this level, float is not new. When I say float left, I have my my words like this, and I'm sure, for example, even if I was to stop here, this is what you would really need. But let us, like I promised you, we can add on some designs to the image. For example, we could say that the margin 0 top, 10 pixels on the right, 0 at the bottom, and 0 at the left. I could add a border radius to the image of 5 pixels. Border radius is very good because it makes the image look sweeter than it should be. So 2 pixels, top bottom, 2 pixels, left to right. No blur today. I can pick a dark cyan, and as you can see, I have a small one here. And my image, I could have said on hover, but I could as well do this. This is what I want for now, no problem. Then I could come to text and work on it. Content, let me check the right spelling. It's content. Okay, content can be text dash align. I want to justify. Okay, before I do that, you can look at how our text is here. It's not nice. This is not nice. If I put a border here, you would see where this class is stopping. But we don't use borders because unless it is necessary. But the borders would not look good. As you can see, they are not looking good. So we could choose to say that align justify, such that now our work left to right can be on the same line. You see, properly justified. So this is neater. You could use line height if you want to increase spaces in here, but this is readable enough. We could go ahead and maybe work on that heading just to make sure there is a difference. Dot content h2. You can say color dark cyan. If you just landed on this, please, you need to make sure you go and watch a tutorial about selectors. It is very important. Helps you understand more on selectors, but also there is quite a lot you need to know why we select like this. So when we come back here, this is what we have. You can see we can even test it out here, and we see what we are getting. As you can see, okay, we've not created so much of any response, but still that is working out better. Alternatively, we could come here and select something else. I could say like this. So it's telling me that at 500 wide, this is how my work is going to be. I could choose to define it differently. Okay, you can see the smallest of the screens. How would my work be? You can choose to define this if that is what you want, because we have looked at it on style images or responsive images where we are using at media screen. So you can do that, do your at media screen, and change how this sits here or will be viewed. So that is another one that we have looked at. Now I want us to look at for example, the second last example. Today I'm going to give you around 4 examples that we will work with. They are going to help you achieve quite some nice things, and that way you will be able to pick what you want. So let us look at that. Can comment this out, then we start afresh. Okay, do something else. So we can come here and say, can now make it a section on a page. Okay, then I can say create a class image. In this class I can add another class called image1. or the name of the image, it doesn't matter. You can just call this image or image 1, no problem. Then inside here I add that image. We could deal with maybe say images. I can pick for example this image 28. So in the same section I could have, I'm going to use 2 images now and show you differently. So the previous example, this one here, it means now you could copy it, paste it again, change the image, leave the rest as they are, and then you are creating different profiles. Change the heading. Now if this is the company owner, and maybe if not the CEO, this could be company CEO, and this would be a small briefing about that person. You wouldn't need, just make sure they have the same class here, or other things can remain the same. This class, such that you've designed them once and for all, and then all other images you are going to use can work like that. Just like the same thing we deal with when we are working with the image galleries. Or other things are the same, except the description and then the image you are trying to use. So we could also, under the section, have another div. Just say div. You can give it a class or not. You can say h2. It is important to give it a class. We can say, maybe I can just change this to topic area. Then I create a paragraph here with our dummy text. I want to create something huge, assuming it was an article. How would you go about it? Assuming it was an article, how would you go about it? We are creating some huge thing until we create an error there. We are reading it differently. There is another way rem, then the number of lines you would want to use. So when we check them out, this is what we have. We have this image, and then we have that image. Then you have that image. It doesn't matter whether this is small or as big as this. It doesn't matter. You can work it out the same way. Could as well, just trying to really increase how big this is. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is about how we are going to design it and how big your article would be. Okay, so let us start. We can say, for example, that we want to begin with assuming this page was, for example, for the article, you could say that or margin 0, padding 0, then box sizing, border box. By now you know why we start like that. Even on navigation bars we start like that. Then the body could maybe be given a background of, say, can begin with a darker color and later change it. If they become 4, it will become black. I told you there are things you might not understand how they look like. I've just added an if there, for example, and we are creating another background text wrap. Then we can say that font family is maybe we want to use Rio, like that. Font family, we want to use Rio in that manner. So we can now choose to say that section, we can say position relative. When we say position relative, you start thinking that there might be a position absolute somewhere, especially on how we are going to position the other two images. We want to position them differently. The width we are saying cover the whole viewport. You could as well then say padding. You could as well set your own width. If you wanted to cover a certain section of the page, you could reduce the width. The other example we used, say 50%, so this one could also cover 50%, no problem. Padding is around 50 pixels, and when we do that, this is what we shall have created. We shall come to look at our colors somewhere else. It will help us pick how our text looks like, because now you can see it has kind of disappeared. But we can as well pull back the body color, and then we shall have it there. So after the section, we can choose to look at a class called image that is going, this needs to change to image 2. You can fill in these. I'm omitting them just in the interest of time, but they are necessary. So this class image is going to work on these two images. That is why we have double classes. That we have also covered. Class inheritance in several tutorials, one of them being how to style images. So you can just check out that tutorial. You will find class inheritance. So we are going to set it also to position relative, because it controls also two images, and that is the saying overflow hidden. In case there happens to be an overflow, hide it, just like how you are creating a slider or a certain section. We've looked at the overflow as a topic. So we can now say image 1. We are targeting the image itself. Image 1. What class is image 1? Okay, and we can generally, they can generally be the same, image 1 and image 2, but slightly different, because we want to use different sizes, and I will show you how. The width of the class image 1 is 350 pixels. The height is also 350 pixels, creating sort of a rectangle. It will be floated left. Okay, the border radius is 50%, creating something circular. Margin should also leave a small margin of 20 pixels. Okay, let us first stop at that. So when we go back up here, might find it there. You can see. We shall rectify that in case we wanted to work on it properly. We shall see how we can deal with this. Then we can also say, now that is image 1, but we can as well pick image 2. Okay, copy image 2 here, we change the class to 2, but we want to float it to the right. Okay, then we want it to be a smaller size, 200 pixels. 200 pixels, the rest are going to be the same. When we go back, this is what we see here and here. You can see we are almost achieving what we want. Now you can maybe choose to reduce on the margin a little bit. That if we chose to say this is margin dash left to be around the 10, how does that look? We've not yet worked on this text properly for you to be able to see how this is. Then margin dash right, also 10 pixels. Yeah, it reduces a bit from the 20 pixels we had set. If we go back, you can see the space. Now you can see the space there. The same has happened to this, but just that this is not straight. And you know, on the left hand side of the text, usually it is straight, like here. That is why this side is already straight and this is jumbled. So you can use text justify to work on it. Now we want to work on the images themselves. So you can set dot image 1. So go to image 1 class and pick the image there, comma, then dot image 2, and then pick the image there, like that. Position should be absolute now because the container is set at position relative. The top should be 0, the left should also be 0. Okay, where are we now? This is where we are. The width should be 100%. That's why we are saying occupy every area in there, and the height also is 100%. So fully occupy, images fully occupy this area. When we do that, we have our images back. Before, this is what we had. You see, this is what we had, sort of moving out. But now we've set height 100, you see, and also we've set width to be 100%. Now they are back and clean. Then we can work on, we had section 2, we had section here, and then this H2, since we didn't create its class. We can say that section, and it is not dot section because section is an HTML tag recognized just like when you say table. Color should be dark cyan. You can use your own colors. Text dash align center. We are on H2, remember. Font size 32 pixels or 2 EM. When we go back, we find it like this. Okay, then we can also say that section paragraph color is white. Against white, of course, you want to see the color. Line height, we want to increase the line spacing. Line dash height, just to increase the line spacing 1.5 such that you don't forget that it exists. Text dash align justify. I had told you about this, we had seen it in the previous example. Now, so you are not able to see the text. Why? Because we've created the color to be white. Okay, but you can see now all sides are under justification, which is very important because this is what we wanted to make sure text is looking nice. So we can now pull back our dark color here. You can use another color, no problem. Now this is what we have. We can what if we use a different color, but not very white? Why? Because we have created our text to be white. It is going to be also same about this one. No, the same. Okay, you will create your own color. There are other things we can do, some new elements under CSS. For example, we can go to this image. Okay, we can go to this image 1 and image 2, they are here, image 1 and image 2. Then I say a very new thing, shape outside. This function is very nice. When I say circle, it is going to create a circular outline outside the image. So you are saying whatever is outside this image, okay, outside the class where the image is contained, it should now form a circle instead of straight lines. You see them? These were once straight lines. Now they are circular. This is what we mean by the power of CSS. Now you can see. They were straight, they are circular. After the image, then they become straight again. After the image, they become straight again, because it is simply targeting the class where the image is contained. We can add something else here. We can say, for example, that box dash shadow, it could be maybe 2 pixels top bottom, 5 pixels left to right, then dark red. Hey, okay, like cyan, no problem. Now we create this outline here, this, you see it? If you have a proper background, may I have a fake background, but with proper background, this thing would look very nice. Let me remove this background first, for example, and then we also stop this color from being white such that we can see our text. See, this can be nice. You could pick another thing. You can see it's as if it is, this is art in CSS, art and design. You can see this is as if it is somehow lifted in the air, like how you have a tambourine, if you know this, for the Jews, one-sided drum that they keep on beating on the other palm and then make some noise with other shackles around it. This is very nice to me, but to you it might also not be nice. So that is what I would call an advanced one. This is also very important. Shape outside is very important, as you have seen how that works. And now you are able to understand how this one. Now let me show you the last one, a quick one, but with a different design. Let me even create its own page. A quick one with a different design. I could say text dash wrap 2.css. Then this can be text dash wrap 2.html, and we do this. Of course, this is also text wrapping. Imagine you wanted to create, we can link here, you wanted to create like a blog, a page of someone, communication from the headmaster, communication from the principal or the university chancellor, something like that, but you want it to be on its own page, that somebody clicks on it and then that page comes up, single page alone. That's what we are going to do. Let us see dots. You can use wrap. I thought these are just names, any name you want. I can now call this one an article because HTML understands it differently. I can say let her class be maybe VC. Okay, vice chancellor. Then I could say inside here I bring the image of the vice chancellor. This one here is the vice chancellor. You don't have to argue, but that one is the image of the vice chancellor. H2, I can say maybe I've created the profiles. I can say VC profile, something like that. Then paragraph, I do the words of the VC, whatever the VC, the profile of the VC. Could have been communication, or you know, those people have also studied. Like most of you going through this maybe might also want to become professors one day, which is very important. We need to open our page. So that is the vice chancellor, and then this is the profile of Mr. Vice Chancellor. So let us see how else can we work on this. We said dot wrapper padding zero top bottom 2 rm root element. This is what it means. Those are also units of if time allows, I will have to show you about these, but you can read about them. You need to have some research. So padding 0 to rm or root element, max width, that it should never be bigger than the width we are going to set, 62.5 say rm. Then we can say margin 0 auto. We are taking it to the center now. This is where we are so far. Because of the words, you might say, no, you guys, this is not the center. The words are longer than the photo. If the words were equal to the photo, they would have pushed slightly to the right. But as you can see, this space here is generally equal to this space here. So that should tell you that this is now centered. Article. Remember, everything else was in the article. What should we do? Margin top should be 2em, 0 left to right. What have we done? Atco was the one. Let us look at it again. Atco is the one that holds the image and every other thing. So this is what we have. When we scroll up, we see that space created there. So EM is also, this is common now, EM pixels. So we are creating around 32 pixels. Padding, that in case there is a necessity or a need for padding, please do that. Box shadow, top bottom 0, left right 0, 1 rm for the shadow or the blur. Now you can see what we have here. Okay, all throughout the blur will be created all throughout. So if you have a blur, sometimes you don't need to create if you have the blur, then you don't need to create top bottom. It's going to be quite big unless you want to reduce the blur, but then why use it? So if you use the blur, you can use it around outside. The best way is not to use any pixels here, because then you will be increasing it. So now we can directly pick our profile image. I don't know whether we gave it any class to work on it properly. Let's have it a class, because we could have more images, okay, for this guy. So we need to create a class. Sorry, I need to create a class equals, you can say profile dash pic. Maybe that is the class. We could also create a class here that says profile dash title. The paragraph can be picked, as you can use article or whatever class vice chancellor. Then we pick that paragraph. So let us look at the picture, because as you can see it is big. Can resize it. Dot profile dash pic, width 150 pixels, border dash radius 100%, calculating it very saturated. Float, go to the left, meaning the text now should be extending to the right. Margin dash right 10 pixels to create the space between the photo and the words. This is what we have. That is what we have. That's the container we have. Margin left, shape outside. This, I'm trying to find out we could come here and create another paragraph. Otherwise I would have to reduce more on the image to me have around those paragraphs. Then I will have created something very big. I could reduce a few, maybe 3 paragraphs, then creating something like this. Otherwise, because at first it was stopping here, meaning I would need to reduce this, but then it would be very small. You could also have increased the size, okay, We could have slightly increased the size here, maybe to 70. If we made this say 70, you can see how it is now. Okay, so that one would also help us. Or probably created the height 62, and then you play around with the, but because we have added the paragraphs, that is okay. But if we had that single paragraph, then we would now provide its height to increase the height to a proper standard. Before we had something like this, so with this you could increase the height or reduce this photo, but then the page would be looking small and funny, small and funny. So maybe you could as well have added another photo like here. We have already covered that, 2 photos on the same page, no problem. Then they would also push them down. Or you would, if it is this profile that you would want to see, for example, you are just creating this page and that is the profile, no problem. Then you would simply increase the height. So otherwise, when I add paragraphs, they will increase the height, so I'm not limiting the height at all. Why? Because I said height auto. We had set our height of the article to be auto, otherwise you could increase its height here. So that is the image. If we look at it straight this side, jumbled the other side, we are going to come to it. We can now come and say that article dot article. Let me look at the class again. It is profile title. It was article title, profile title with a dot. We can say text align center. We can say color, say green. When you go back, we see the VC's profile there. We could quickly now say section. Okay, set it to this. Can pick this and say paragraph margin. We can say margin is 0, 20 left to right, 5 pixels from the bottom. Let me first close it out so that you see how this looks like. Our text is here, here, and here. We want to create a space there, so that is what we are doing. So the margin on the top 0, left to right 20, bottom 5 pixels. When we come back, this is what we have, a space there. Maybe we could also say text align, text dash align, justify, such that we see our text justified at the right hand side. Then we come back to our picture here. I have shown you another new CSS property that we call, can say shape. Outside, then we pick a circle. There are other shapes you can pick, polygons and stuff. When we pick a circle, then we shall have our text once again wrapping around the image in a circular way. So these are the examples of text wrapping. I think 4 of them so far. Those should be enough. There are quite other examples like text fading on your image, that when you hover over an image then the text comes up. Those that you could read about and also use. Thank you.